Hi, my name is Dr. Jeffrey Emge. I'm professor of music and instructor of oboe at the University of Texas at Tyler. Welcome to the 2022 5A, 6A All-Region Etudes. The All-Region Etudes are announced every year in July at the Texas Bandmasters Association Convention in San Antonio. And then there's going to be a mad rush to obtain the materials and practice in preparation for the typically December auditions. So I know if you're watching this, you're probably going to be doing a lot of practice beforehand. Prepare now. You should practice every day and have a small goal in mind about what you want to improve in order to successfully compete with the oboists in Texas. To start your preparation for the all-region competition, you must begin every practice session with a good warm-up. There's no substitute for long tones. I urge you to start with A. It's a great tune you know for the oboe. It also sounds good, and it's a good place to go either upwards or downwards. From the A, work your way slowly down to the bottom of the instrument's range. Once you can play low notes with a very good sound, you're ready to expand your warm-up upwards to the upper octave. In the warm-up, it's not really necessary to play extremely high notes. You want to get the reed vibrating, get your mouth set where you're going to make a good sound, and just focus on tone quality and moving the air out of the body. Now, after your warm-up, it's a good idea to check the pitch of the reed. After a good 5 to 7 minute warm-up, the reed is thoroughly wet. It's going to play at the pitch level that it's going to play at. Then you should check your pitch. I urge all students, don't try to tune the moment you pick up an oboe and put the reed in and play your first note. The pitch is almost certainly going to change within just a moment. Play a full warm-up and then check your pitch with a tuner. But when you check the pitch, don't get in the ensemble mode, whereas you want to immediately lip up or lip down to the pitch that's in tune with the tuner. Instead, play where you feel good. Look at the tuner and watch the tuner, but don't make adjustments. Then do some self-reflection. Why was I sharp? Or why was I flat? Or, hey, great, I was in tune. Allow some time for your mouth muscles to get used to the exercise of playing and the reed to get used to the constriction of your lips and being vibrated. And then after that, do the analysis about, well, hey, why am I a little bit flat or a little bit sharp? I'm sorry to bring scales up so early in the process, but scales are very important. Just like when you learn a reading exercise when you were in junior high and you had to learn the vocabulary, the scales are your vocabulary. And we're going to be taking a look at the vocabulary of these three all-region etudes. The most important part of the scale, however, is the fact that you're going to play in one airstream and move evenly. Especially in August, speed is not an important factor. So we'll take the etudes in numerical order. We'll start with number 6 in G major. I've included an extended range scale on the screen. You'll notice the range of the etude is pretty high. It's almost the entire length of the oboe's compass. There's a low C in it, and there's a E6, the highest E the oboe can play. So the first step would be to play that scale. I suggest you start on the tonic note, the first note of the scale, G, go up as high as you need to go, in this case E, and then down to the low C. After you're able to slur the entire scale, you should try tonguing the entire scale. There are both extended tongued passages and extended slurred passages in this etude. In addition to G major, a significant portion of this etude is in the key of E minor. And the knowledge of the E minor scale is essential. Specifically, on the screen, you can see I have the E melodic minor scale for you. But we don't have to use all of that in this etude. Instead, we go from low D sharp up to high C natural. And so I'll demonstrate that portion of the E minor scale. In this case, I played the melodic ascending version, both up and down. Now let's look at the B flat major etude. It's a monster, isn't it? It's got a huge number of notes, and they're all played very, very fast. On the screen, you can see the extended range of the B flat major scale. Fortunately, we don't have to play every single note, but we do almost have to play every single note. So when I practice, I usually go ahead and practice starting on the low B flat. You don't have to. But you do have to play all the way up to high F. And the scale up to high F is used in several places in this etude. Here is what one way to practice this scale would sound like. Slur the scale first before you try to tongue it. Most of this etude is slurred, so it's not really necessary to be able to play the entire scale tongued. We're going to be looking more carefully at the highest note of the oboe, the F6. So let's take a look at the F6 fingering needed for this etude. We'll use the octave key in the back, the first octave key, half hole, the second finger, and the A flat key. We'll also use the second and third fingers of the right hand. Now, depending on the context, whether it's an arpeggio or a scale, this version is called the left high F because we're using the left A flat key. But sometimes you'll be needed to use the right A flat key with the side of your index finger. And we'll call that, of course, the right high F. And you'll need to mark that in your music. Generally speaking, if you're playing a scale, this is the fingering you'll use, the right F6. But if you're playing an arpeggio, most of you will have learned high F like this, and you'll want to mark it in your music as left F6. The etude number 29 is mostly in the key of E major, and the range of the etude is not the complete scale. It starts, the lowest note of that etude is B in the staff, known as B4, and then it goes up to E6. So that E6 is tricky. Sometimes you're going to have to perform it with the left little finger, and sometimes with the right index finger, which we'll call right E6 or left E6. So I'm going to demonstrate the E major scale for you, the complete range of it. Unfortunately, some of the etude number 29 is in the key of B major. You may be thinking, wait a minute, I didn't see a key signature change. No, but they've added the accidental. Look in the middle, you'll see several A sharps written in. So composers are sneaky this way, and they'll write key changes by just using accidentals. So part of the etude is in the key of B major, and it goes up fairly high. It goes all the way up to D sharp. So let's take a look now at the fingering for D sharp 6. For the D sharp 6 fingering, we will use the half hole, second and third fingers of the left hand, and the low B natural key, which will stabilize and flatten the pitch. The second and third fingers of the right hand are used as well. No octave key is used. So the B major scale up to high D sharp would sound something like this. As you begin your practice for these three difficult etudes, be sure to keep a journal. It's not necessary to keep a book, but you may want to have some pieces of paper, one for each etude, to chronicle the days that you practiced, the amount of time you spent practicing, what you actually did, and how you felt about it. As in, were you satisfied, dissatisfied, happy, frustrated? It's okay to put those down on paper. It's also a good opportunity later in the fall to look back with pride on the progress you made. So let's take a look at Etude number 6 just in a general way. It's very fast. The rhythms are not really complicated. It's the same basic rhythm throughout. And there are several opportunities to breathe already written in there. So that's good for us oboe players. Now let's take an overview of Etude number 18. This is the most difficult by far. It's got a huge range. All the notes are fast. There's a few tricky tonguing passages and many difficult leaps. You'll need to work on this one in stages, and I hope you'll use my reference videos for part 1 of Etude number 18 because we'll focus only on the first 2 lines. Now let's take a look at an overview of Etude number 29. A lot of it is in the key of E, but the middle section, especially the end of line 2 to the end of line 3, is in the key of B major. This is unusual because even though it's written in 2/4 time, Ferling specifies that the 8th note gets the beat. So you're always going to be practicing this 4 beats in a measure. And there'll be some adjustments to be made for the counting for that as well. But don't worry, every time we go through a part together with my videos, I'll spend some time counting 8 measure segments with you so that I'll help you with the counting. So if you refer back to the suggested warm-up I had you do with long tones, starting in the middle register, moving to the lower register, and then doing the high register, followed by scales, make that warm-up routine a daily part of your practice. You cannot get the oboe out of the case, wet a reed, and go immediately to work on the etudes. You must involve a warm-up that prepares you physically and mentally for the challenges ahead. If I can help you in any way, my contact information is on the screen. I look forward to going with the journey with you in preparation for the 2022 All-Region Etudes. Good luck.